Kyle Hawk, very wonderful. You know, Kyle, I always enjoy listening to your poems. They kind of take you to another world. You just go to another world with Kyle's stuff. Wonderful, wonderful. Now next, we have the Rose of New Westminster. Eileen Kernaghan. Now, Eileen, she seems very quiet and unassuming, but Eileen is really, she's an icon on the literary scene in Canada. She actually is. She's written so many books. They are for sale over here. When we take a break before the open mic, I do hope you'll all take a look and support Canadian literature and the Queen Rose of New West. Tell you a little bit about Eileen. Eileen's speculative poetry collection, Tales from the Holograph Woods, draws its themes from science fiction, myth and magic, dark fantasy, and fairy tales. It brings together poems published over the last 35 years in magazines and anthologies ranging from Prism International, the Antagonish Review, to Weird Tales and Black Lotus. Eileen is also the author of 8 historical fantasy novels, with a 9th one, Sophie in Shadow, forthcoming on March the 30th. She was shortlisted in 2009 for the Sunburst Award for Canadian Literature of the Fantastic, and in 2005 for the Sheila Egoff Prize for Children's Literature. I mean, this is an all-around literary figure that writes everything. Fantasy, science fiction, children's books, novels. I really want you to put your hands together and give Eileen Kernaghan a warm welcome.
Well, thank you, Candace, but at the time you're finished introducing me, I'm almost too embarrassed to say. Okay, let's see if I can work with this thing. How's my sound? Am I
Get a little bit closer.
closer? Okay.
Perfect.
How's that? So with Sochi and Russia and everyone's mind right now, I thought I would dig out my Russian poem. In 1901, a writer called John Foster Fraser said, "The very word Siberia is one to make the blood run chill. To whisper Siberia in the ear of a Russian is to make the cheek blanch. No one ever went there but in chains." But a very intrepid Victorian woman called Kate Marsden went to Siberia, and she returned to tell the tale and wrote a book. In 1891, at the height of the Russian winter, an English nurse and missionary set out on this epic 19th century version of a fundraising marathon. Her journey lasted 12 months, and it took her over 2,000 miles to Yakutia in northeastern Siberia. And she hoped that by enlisting the support of influential people and royalty and lecturing on her travels, she hoped to raise funds for hospitals which would help the Yakutian lepers who were suffering horribly. We don't know much about Kate Marsden in her later career. She doesn't tell us whether any of those hospitals were ever actually built. And all we've got is the record of her journey. So this is not exactly a found poem, but it's a kind of distillation of Kate Marsden's journey. I was so fascinated by her book that I wanted to do something with it. So I've used some of Kate's own words. I've done a rephrasing of her words, and some lines are my own. So, Kate Marsden through Siberia on sledge and horseback. To assist the lady tourist, a few details of my stores and outfit. One ulster, fur-collared, of thickly wadded eiderdown. One full-length sheepskin coat, and over that a coat of reindeer skin. 2 pairs of thickest stockings, felt boots, 2 pairs, a fur-lined cap, and over all a kind of furry sack, and sundry shawls and rugs and wraps. As to provisions, biscuits, sardines, some bread and tea, plum pudding, 40 pounds, a quantity of candles, and a 10-year supply of lamp wicks. Quite stiff and cumbersome in my great load of wool and fur and skins, I could scarcely totter. 2 policemen seized me by the arms and hoisted me up and stowed me in my sledge like a large, unwieldy package. I gasped, and we were off. The whip slashes, reins thud upon the horse's heaving flanks. "Run fast, little doves, little sisters," cries the driver. Those lights that gleam like yellow beacons in primeval darkness are the eyes of wolves. This is the taiga, a universe of trees, inhabited by ghosts, and men who walk like ghosts, half seen through veils of endlessly descending snow. In this vast wild Siberia, shall I ever see another English face? The tarantass is a wheeled instrument of torture, lurching over frozen roads deep furrowed as plowed fields, and straw laid down to bind the half-thawed ice of river crossings. Limbs ache, muscles ache, head aches, insides ache, and eventually you fall into a stupor of forgetfulness when nothing, wind, weather, the perils of the road, the body's wretchedness, has any meaning, when all that matters in this world is sleep. This is immensity beyond one's powers of imagining, and pain beyond one's powers of endurance. Madness to have undertaken such a journey, but I travel in obedience to the voice of God. In Yakutia, at 58 below, iron rods snap. Breath crackles in the air like torn tissue paper. They call it the whispering of stars. Fires burn for 3 days, 3 nights, to thaw the ground for corpses. In summer, storms like the quarreling of demons rend the lurid sky, and forests topple. In the forests of Yakutia, fires seethe beneath the hollow earth, burst through the brittle crust like shapes of madness, like the writhing tongues of phantasmagoric beasts. Half-blinded, choking, we ride on, the horses desperate with fear. Gentle mothers of the world, I have met the lepers, and now I plead for your help, your sympathy, your tears. In summer they go naked, wounds festering, fly-tormented. In the months of biting frost, all the covering they have is hay and rags. Feet rotted to the ankles, they make the sign of the cross with fingerless hands. Their faces haunt me as we ride on into the darkness. Owls hoot, rats dart at my horse's hooves. Under our feet are rotten roots and holes. Trees loom overhead, and everywhere is silence. Now I must gather strength for the work to come.